What up, YouTube? So today is going to be part 14 of the Honda Civic Jdm h22 swap H2K, and had to take everything kind of back apart. When we went down to actually getting this to snug in, it actually was kind of crooked, and it wasn't actually sitting right on the water pump housing. So it was pretty much because the intake manifold wasn't clipped right. So it was supposed to be clipped by Valix Racing. This is actually what they did at first, and then I had to go get this all machined down, and this part right here mainly to clear everything. So now that is done, I can put it all back together now and get all the water pump piping pretty much all back together, and so we can actually put some fluid in here. The reason why, once I had it on the first time, it did kind of fit, but it was kind of real snug, so it wasn't actually really on there. So when I put the fluid on and I started to bleed the radiator, it literally just all came out the water piping from the water pump housing side, and it really wasn't on as good as on this side either. So that's pretty much, we're getting back to putting this all back together, the throttle body, the spacers and everything, so we can actually get some fluid in here. Also got a brand new axle for the driver's side, since this one wasn't no good, so we'll be putting that on. And then I also have the intake manifold, intake air temperature sensor adapter that we're going to be putting on the intake, so we can run it, like I said, basically like a RSX. So we installing that and getting everything back together, and then hopefully we can get it back running again and start bleeding the radiator fluid, so we can pretty much take it into the garage so I can start finishing up all the suspension and everything. It's just a lot better to do it than out here. It's kind of hot. So I'm gonna go ahead and start installing the intake manifold, and then we'll get the sensor installed as well, and then we'll just go from there. So I'm gonna go ahead and start knocking these things out, and we'll come back. Alright, so we're back now, and the RBC manifold is back on with injectors. I still got to connect the harness and everything, but throttle body's on there with the spacer. Pretty much ready to go now. One thing I did do is put Honda bolts on here, because these other ones are just stripping. The ones that they give you, these are not good bolts at all, so I wouldn't recommend using these. They're just too short, and I'm pretty sure somebody was telling me on the dyno, like, they kind of come loose too. So with the original Honda bolts, they go in a lot longer, and they're actually just a head instead of a bolt and stud, so that worked out a lot better. It took me a while because I had to take these off because I had Loctite on them, but that's done. So next thing we're gonna do is get this sensor on here. I'm gonna have to drill into the intake. Also, when installing this, you do have to shave it down, the little spikes or whatever, for it to actually fit in here. So it's basically gonna go like that, and then I'm gonna drill and screw. So I'm gonna get that knocked out real fast, and then we'll go ahead and install that, and then we'll finish the video by putting the axle on. And that's pretty much it. Just keep it simple on this video, because I pretty much just wanted to show you guys the manifold. As a matter of fact, let me show you the clearance now. So with this shaved off about, I would say, 1/4 of an inch, you have way more clearance right here. And then from the bottom, when I showed you, it perfectly clears the pipe at the bottom now, so there's no issues as far as that. I should be able to put some fluid in here, and hopefully it doesn't leak or anything. So I'm gonna go ahead and install the sensor first, and then we'll come back, get to the axle, and then start filling it up. Alright, so I got the sensor installed onto the intake now. It's pretty much how it looks. Let's do it. So all I used was pretty much the drill bit, and then I used a step bit to finish drilling out the hole. Other than that, that's pretty much it. So I can get this installed now, and then I'm gonna start clamping everything down, run my injector clips, and then I still got to put the throttle body cable on here. After that, we'll put the axle on, and then I'm gonna do that right now. Actually put the axle on, and then we'll start putting some fluid in, and hopefully everything is good and there's no leaks. So I'm gonna go ahead and get this intake on, the axle, and we'll come back. Alright, so we're back now. I got the intake installed, sensors all plugged in now, so that's all good. I also did the injector clips and everything. The axle I tried to install, but I think they gave me the wrong axle. It's not going in all the way, so I'm gonna have to figure that out. But I did fill up the radiator fluid, and no leaks, so we're all good as far as that. The pipe is sealed, all the hoses are tied down and ready to go. Next video we're gonna get this thing on its feet, and like I said, put it in a garage, start messing with the suspension. I still have to bleed the brakes and do a couple more things, just a few adjustments here and there, but we're pretty much almost there. Hopefully soon, once this is done, we can get the S300 on here and get a dyno. So stay tuned for that, guys. If you haven't liked, share, subscribe, comment, let me know what you guys think, and I'll see you guys in the next video.